Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sports Card Madness. This is LZ. I'm here with Nick. We're covering a lot today. We have a lot of GameStop stuff. We have PSA stuff. We have whatnot that we're going to be talking about. We have Fanatics Fest that we're going to be covering today. So a lot to get into.
Right on.
But
Yeah.
let's kick it off, Nick, with the opening kickoff.
All right, let's do it. Who's kicking it off? Me or you?
You're kicking it off. You're
All
doing
right.
it today. You kick it
Man,
off.
I got something fun cooking. So we're going to talk about Fanatics Fest later because it's starting today. And I was actually helping Fanatics Fest behind the scenes with a really cool project that we'll get into. But I've got something fun coming up. This weekend, me and my son are going to take our first trip together without anybody else in the family. So obviously we've been on trips with like the whole family, right? And we've gone away. But it's the first time it's me and him. He's pretty young still.
Mm.
And we are going to Fanatics Fest. And he's really excited, man. He's pretty pumped to, see the athletes. He cares more about the YouTubers, I think. Which isn't surprising.
Nope,
But
not at all.
and Gavin pretty well, man. What do you think
Mhm.
he's most excited about in the entire city of New York, other than
No,
Fanatics
I
Fest?
know. I know that one. That's easy. It's the big mega Nintendo store. He
The Nintendo store.
probably wants to spend half a day in that thing.
Yeah, he wants to
Yeah.
spend 3 months of allowance, his entire day. He's got the Switch 2 already, so I don't know what he could possibly buy
Yeah,
there.
what
But
could he get?
well, he
Like a
like
bunch of add-ons.
they do sell really cool clothing there that's got like Nintendo New York on it, and so he goes to school with like a Nintendo New York
Oh yeah,
hoodie.
like a
Thinks he's
hoodie.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm looking forward to
Peacocking
this.
around school. Yep.
It's
Hmm.
going to be wild without the sister and Julie there. So it'll be fun.
That's awesome, man. I mean, you will remember that trip. You will definitely remember that trip for the rest of your life, and I think he will too, because he's at an age where I think he will remember it. Having those kind of one-on-one trips
Yeah.
with your child, whether it's a daughter or son, is pretty memorable. I know that me and Tyler went to the National last summer, and
Right.
that actually might have been the first trip that we did alone together.
Oh, wow.
And he still talks about it a lot,
Yeah.
about how much fun it was. And similar to Gavin, he was like very impressed with like the social media stars that were there, as
Of
opposed to
course. Of course he was.
the TriStar autograph area. He could have cared,
Who's Patrick Ewing?
he could have cared
What?
less about like Ray Lewis and things like that. But yeah, you're gonna have a really good time, man.
Yeah, it'll be
It's
fun.
I even think about some like trips I did with myself with my father when I was a lot younger, and I remember them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna
And
be really
honestly,
cool.
come say hi. If you guys are there this weekend, I'll be there Saturday and Sunday. I'll have a Boston hat on so you can find me easy.
And we're going to talk about Fanatics Fest more
We are.
in
Yeah.
the
I'm going to
episode
drop some stuff that nobody
in
knows about.
details. In details. All right. So my kickoff is actually another trip. So I mean, this is becoming like a reoccurring thing for me. Everybody like
You
one week I'm
well-traveled
here,
dude.
I'm in
You.
Louisville, I'm in like Nashville, I'm in Texas, I'm in Albuquerque. So this past week, where in the world is LZ? I was in Fort Lauderdale, and we were right on the beach in Fort Lauderdale, and we went to this beach bar. They had this cool spot like above it where we actually had some meetings called Bo's Beach, right on Fort Lauderdale Beach,
Bose
and
Beach.
it's kind of like almost like I think it would be the south tip of like where the craziness is of Fort Lauderdale with all like the restaurants and the clubs and everything. It's kind of at the very end of one of those, and it's on this perfect spot. And I was talking to the manager, and she's like, "Yeah, we're getting ready for the Florida Panthers um championship celebration." And I'm like, what? Like it's like
Wait a second.
there's only been three games. Why are you
Now
doing
I need
that?
to look
Like,
that up.
oh,
Yeah.
we have to get preparing for it already. And I'm like, wait, it's not going to be here. And she's like, no, it's literally going to be right across the street. So I just found it to be so cool that apparently last year when they won it, it was right on the beach, the big celebration
Oh,
right
jeez.
across from this restaurant. And I think about Boston, we're spoiled with riches of championships, and all of our championships are on these duck boat vehicles that
Yeah,
that
middle of the city.
go through the city, and they kind of end in a central location in the city. But how cool would it be, Nick? Like beautiful Fort Lauderdale beach, like you know 200,000 people. This part, I don't know how many they had. It might even been more than that. Who
Sounds
knows?
awesome.
Right? Doesn't
Sounds
that sound
awesome.
so cool?
First of all, everything's better on the beach.
Yeah, seriously,
Second
it
of
is.
all, everything's better with Florida weather.
Oh,
Um,
man, tell me
you need to
about it.
start. You know what, dude? In your travels, you travel a lot. Start scouting out Florida locations because we're. I already told
Done.
Julie, I'm like, we're snowbirds.
Yeah.
Soon as the little ones in college, we're out of here. So start scouting out locations for me to
Yeah.
get a condo,
I'm
man.
gonna start grabbing those real estate books
Bring them home. I'm not kidding, man.
in airports and
Although I'll
restaurants
probably
for
just
you.
use ChatGPT and be really
Yeah.
lazy.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not using a book. Who uses a book now? No, no
That's
way.
awesome, man. Yeah,
No way.
I saw some pictures you shared. Look beautiful. I've been to Fort Lauderdale, I don't know, 20 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
It was really nice back then. So
Yeah. To the point around like it's just like we were walking around like going to grab we went to Starbucks at like 2 p.m. on like a Tuesday. And people are like out on the beach like playing volleyball. And you're like do people work or do they just like do they just like
it's
hang on the
different.
beach on random
Different. It's a
Tuesdays?
different vibe, dude. We're all just
It's weird.
miserable. Me and you were just bitching about this, man. It's like
Yeah.
so far, Massachusetts, it's like you get a couple nice days during the week. Of the weekend, it's been 60 and rainy. That doesn't really
Yeah.
happen in Florida. So, they're just
Nick,
happier, dude.
I think I heard yesterday that it's been 13 weekends in a row of rain in the
That, sh-
Boston area.
that should be illegal. It's
13.
like they should
Like
they should be able to shift the weekend. All right, everybody, Monday and Tuesday is now the weekend.
I know, seriously, like is the weather like on a 7 day schedule? Like I,
Like,
I
what
said
is
that to
this?
my wife.
Somebody's
I'm
up
like,
there just
why?
messing with us, dude.
Yeah. Like this cold front is going to take, 5 days. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, but let's get into all the
Sports got
topics we
stuff.
wanted to sports cards.
Sports
I
got.
wanted to I think a lot of us are starting to hear about GameStop. A lot of things going on with GameStop right now. Rumors of could they buy PSA, right? There's definitely a partnership that they have where they're taking submissions in their stores, and we're going to be covering that. But I wanted to actually cover GameStop's latest earnings call. So
Love
they're a
this.
public company, so they have to have a quarterly earnings call. Usually the CEO or the CFO is on these calls talking about how the company did the past quarter. They get into financials, but then they do talk strategy typically in these earning calls, focus areas that they're going to be doing, and they discussed how they publicly stated that they are going to shift to cards. That is going to be their focus. They are moving away from video games, probably because video games, you just download them now, right? Like, there's no need for these brick and mortar stores for video games. Like, your son, Gavin, like, he's not buying many physical video games unless he's going to the vintage Boom Boom store down the street, right? He's
That's
not
right.
buying, not
That's right.
buying them. But the CEO talked about how there is just such a high margin potential with trading cards. So that was very interesting. They've received, and this is a little bit outdated, but I think he did talk about it during the earnings call about how they've received 1 million+ card submissions already.
Oh, that's a big
A
update.
million, a million already.
So that's through PSA's partnership, has to be,
That
right?
is, yes, through
Weren't
the
they just
PSA.
at 500,000 like 3 months ago? Okay, so
Well, I
that's
think
ramping.
that report around the 1 million, I think I first saw it like a month ago.
Wow.
So a
Okay.
month ago they hit 1 million.
All right, it's picking up.
So there was that. He also talked about this is the first profitable first quarter that they've had since 2019. And a big factor was PSA.
Yeah, makes sense.
So there was that. I'm just a lot of snippets that I took out of this. I actually used GPT to help me in all this, so pretty cool stuff to just use that. Cards represented 29% of sales
Okay.
in Q1. All right, I got two more here. Um, they
What, 20?
want,
Oh, wow. All right.
yeah,
Won't comment yet.
29%. 29%.
Keep going.
And then the last one on there was something just around like they have this footprint. They have this footprint of stores. Like they're in malls, they're in strip malls, they're kind of all over the place, and they want to turn it into a destination for cards. And we're seeing that theme elsewhere too, right? We've talked about Dick's Sporting Goods recently too, and how they want to make a destination. We're seeing Walmart getting into this stuff. We're seeing even a survey around lids and whether you would do that. So it's interesting that
PSA
Even
did that,
yeah,
sir. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
PSA did it. You have Card Vault by Tom Brady. They're trying to make that this destination experience, so it's very, very interesting. Um, GameStop is very well positioned for this as well. So
You
some
know,
interesting stuff came out of that.
it's funny if you want to start a business right now, it's going to be a little more expensive and you're going to need insurance, but most people are craving that like real world connection. And so these
Mhm.
experiences, no matter what you're doing or what business you're in, even if it's mostly e-commerce or something like that, you can find a way to do something where people actually go to you because people need things to do, like in the real
They do.
world still, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is interesting. All right, out of all those stats, the 1 million jumped out at me. That's crazy. And then the
1 million. Yeah.
cards being 29% of their sales already, like that,
In
you ask,
Q1.
like if
Yep.
you ask your wife, like she's probably heard of GameStop.
Hmm.
Or like you ask your son, he's heard of GameStop,
Sure.
and would that person think that they have anything to do with cards at all? You
No.
know, like a random
Nope.
person at the mall. You
I
think
don't
like
think so.
video games, right?
Yeah. Like
Well,
I do
one
think like
third.
maybe you would think that like there'd be like some random Pokemon packs like
Okay,
in a
yeah.
GameStop and that's it. But that's it. Like you're not
Funkos,
thinking,
yeah,
yeah.
some stuff like that.
Hmm.
But now you're saying it's nearly a third, and they
Mm,
have so this thing, it's going to be half. It's going to be the majority probably within a
it will.
year,
It
and
will.
it's smart. It's smart business sense. Cards, for now, have a fabulous margin.
They
Fabulous
really
margin.
do.
Not
They
forever,
really do.
but they do. That's wild.
Speaking of other stores, you go into Newberry Comics a decent amount, right?
Yeah,
At the mall. Like I don't know the last time you've been in there, but I
yeah.
was in there last weekend with my daughter. Newberry Comics, everybody, it's probably more of a local store, but it's kind of like if you're
Hot
familiar with like
Topic
Hot
meets,
Topic back in the
yeah,
day,
like
like Hot Topic beats a record store, like a
yeah,
record store, like
something like that.
music and pop culture in there. They had a lot of cards
Mm.
couple weekends ago behind the counter. Like before it was like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, there was like every sport. They had a lot.
Yeah, it's all
So it's
marked up.
very interesting, right? We talked about the local hardware store a couple weeks ago, now Newbury Comics and now GameStop and all they're doing. So
Cool.
it's interesting. And I know there's a rumor around is GameStop gonna buy PSA, right? Like there's just kind of these
Yeah, we
rumors
should
that are
talk about
happening
that a
around it.
little bit. I also
Yeah.
want to talk about there's a major fiasco right now with GameStop submissions that I
Okay.
aired last week on Instagram that I think people should know about
All
and
right. So
just be
let's,
wary of.
let's get each of our opinions towards the end of this episode whether we think GameStop will buy PSA after we talk about everything else
Sure.
around that. So let's go to your next topic you had, which is about GameStop, but it's a different avenue than I just went. So what
Yeah.
do you want to talk about?
So I want to talk about the submissions for 1 second because you just mentioned that they've taken 1 million submissions. So someone
Yeah.
reached out to me.
Hmm.
They have a Kobe Bryant Jambalaya card, not an insignificant card. All right. That's a
Hmm.
five-figure card, depending on the grade, possibly a six-figure card. And, he submitted it to GameStop and thought everything was peachy and just hadn't heard back from them. And now we know what happened in hindsight. The store manager at the time created a false email and a false profile, took that guy's card, clicked through that false profile, took the card, many other cards, and bounced. I think there's a lawsuit against him right now. I mean, he's setting up at a show too. I can't blast that, but
No way.
yeah.
He's setting up at the show with all the cards that he's been stealing?
Correct. So,
Whoa.
but you know me, I'm hot-headed. I was about to blast it, then I'm like, wait a sec, wait a sec. I told the guy, I'm like, listen, file a police report, get the police, bring them to the show, do this the right way, and confront him. This is going to air after the show, so I'm not blowing anything
Oh,
up, which is
perfect. All
perfect.
right, good.
So that show was last weekend. Who knows? Maybe we've got an update,
Oh,
but
I hope it goes down.
I
If it
hope he
does,
gets. I
we
hope he
got to
gets
get him on the
busted.
show, man. We got to get him on the show. If he brings cops in, we got to hear the story.
Yeah,
We
if
got to
this,
hear the story.
I hope it works out for him. So I've been
Yeah.
trying to help him get the awareness of GameStop because the district
Hmm.
manager, out of sheer laziness, hasn't, all he has to do is send an email. So they're making this guy go to the store and interview the employees of the store to confirm what happened and show the email on camera. And I'm like, you know what, man? I'm just going to air this because it's so ridiculous.
Hmm.
And yeah, the video's going to, whatever, it's like 1 million views and it got people's attention. And the district manager then contacted him. He had a meeting set up with him and he said, no, I'm good now. I don't like how you're blasting this. And it's like the guy was literally doing what he was instructed to do, like
Instructed.
gather evidence and everything. And so
Yeah.
this poor guy is like, they may offer him GameStop credit, for this, like,
GameStop credits
are you kidding
for a
me?
five-figure card.
So now he's got to
GameStop
what? He's got
credits.
to go buy a bunch of PS5s and sell them on eBay. Like, I mean, it's obnoxious. So I do. I want to summarize with some action that you can take in the audience. If you're thinking
Mm,
of submitting to GameStop, fine, think about it. But when you go, make sure you watch every part of that process like a hawk. The account that they have registered you to on the iPad, you take
mhm.
photos of yourself, make sure they take photos, make sure they seal the bags, make sure everything is good, and then you leave that store with receipts and everything. That way you've got a shot. So that's my advice on that one. Just a cautionary
Oh,
tale, you know? Crazy.
man, oh man. All right, we got to get an update with you got to keep us posted
Yeah.
on that one, Nick.
All right. So now,
Definitely got to.
Spinatron, I'm going to give him the credit on this one. I'm not on
Okay.
Twitter or X very much, but it's a
Mm,
Twitter X account where he got my juices flowing. Spinotron.
okay.
He started connecting dots with a few different things. One was GameStop raising 1.75 billion on a convertible note at 0% interest. So for the audience that doesn't understand finance, basically like they're gonna like just borrow 1.75 billion for nothing. I mean, for
Hmm.
equity, right? But
Hmm.
like they're just going to get, so now they have that to spend. They can go to the mall shopping with that 1.75 billion, if that
Hmm.
clarifies.
Hmm.
They bought 500,000 of Bitcoin. That is, the value's now gone up. So they're sitting on that. They have cash and stuff like that. So let's call it
They have
like,
Nick, they have a lot of cash.
oh yeah,
They
yeah,
have five billion in cash reserves.
right. So they have a ton of ability here. Now, PSA's valuation in 2022 was 4.3 billion, but that
Hmm.
was the card boom valuation. I have heard rumors that the valuation has been cut as much as in half. Um,
Hmm.
I that seems a bit extreme to me, but let's
That does,
say
yeah.
let's say PSA is a healthy company and they're worth 3 billion on paper. They are quite acquirable at that
Hmm.
price by GameStop. Um, who knows? I'm not saying it's going to happen or anything like that. And it's always fun. These are always fun exercises to be like, oh,
Yeah.
what do you think? And I will add one more spicy detail. On Reddit, I wish I could remember the username, but it was like one of those stonk Reddit type things.
Hmm.
Somebody took a video recording, they typed in psacard.com, and for a few hours it redirected to GameStop.com. And there was no trickery or anything like that. That tells me, I mean, they do have a partnership, but that's weird. And it makes me think like maybe they're prepping for something. But
Yeah, I mean, but that could be anything. That
right.
could be, hey, we want to have an online presence with our submissions, and they're working on that, and it just they
And
screwed
on the
up
other
the
side of the
URL.
coin, I'll say that, Nat Turner has stated that they are not going to be acquired by GameStop as of, this recording.
Yeah.
Um, God help us if it happens after we record this. But so that's all the clues and pieces of the puzzle and everything.
Mm.
I don't know. We could decide at the end. I'm at the like 50-50 for
All
me,
right,
which is not
we want
helpful.
to wait till the end of this episode, or do we
Oh
want
no, screw it, man. What do you think? What do you think's
to?
gonna happen?
Gun to my head, gun to my head, I say yes. If I had to say yes or no, gun to my head is yes. I think they are.
Okay.
Um, I think there's a lot of clues. I think they have cash on hand, especially with this earnings call that they want to shift to cards. And how do you bring foot traffic into your store? You bring foot traffic by having a submission process in your store, so people aren't just buying things, but they're bringing things in and they're getting them submitted. So yes, gun to my head, I think so. Now, is it going to happen tomorrow? No, maybe not. Um, these things take time. With Nat coming out and saying that, Nat is a friend of the show. We
Yep.
respect the fact that he said that they're not, but that is what any good business leader would say.
Yeah.
You would never get Nat to admit, if we
Ever.
called him right now, he would never admit to us that, oh yeah, we're talking to GameStop
Yes.
right now. We're
It's
gonna
happening,
sell
bro.
next week. Like
He
they
could get
he
he
would
could get sued for
never
the
do that.
cost of the deal if that happens.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
he ain't
So
saying a damn word until the
no.
clock strikes midnight on that day.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
So,
All right.
all right.
So gun to your head, you got to say yes or no.
All right, my spidey sense is usually good with M&A. I say no now. I say yes in about 2 years, and I
Oh,
think
you cheaped out. You
they
just cheaped out.
fold. Well, there's one major factor. I think they fold in Whatnot. I
Oh,
think
all
Whatnot's
three.
yeah. I think Whatnot
All
gets
three
folded in.
part of it.
Whatnot's valuation's 5 right now on a Series E, and you're seeing the partnerships with Whatnot and PSA and GameStop, right?
Mm,
And I think that they're just
okay. So
waiting
a
until
little bit
there's enough
long
cash
term.
for that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
so I
mean,
guess I
I'm
guess it's no. It's no, and then it's
it's
yes down the
no.
road. Yeah.
Well, then I guess I'm kind of no right now because I don't think it's going to happen soon. I think it's going to take probably a year or two.
Mhm.
But yeah, I do think
We'll
eventually it
see.
will.
Audience, let us know in the comments. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, maybe.
Okay. All right. Next topic, just around kind of how you handle things and the shenanigans that happen with GameStop. One thing that I loved hearing from Rob Veras, the owner of Burbank,
The card
uh,
father.
the card father. I just happened to like catch one of his IG videos that he put out a couple weeks ago, and he was explaining, the new store is open. These are some of the cool innovations that we're doing in the store. Come check out this corner, come check out that corner. And he went over to the wall where I think there's over 250 stars, like cards, players in boxes. And you go over to that wall and
Oh,
you
right.
ask one of the associates, like, hey, let me see the Kobe Bryant box. Let
Oh,
me
that's
see
right.
the Barry Bond box. Let me see the Tom Brady box. And most of those cards are a dollar. And then when you get to the high end guys, I think all of those are still they're individually priced, but they're affordable. And the quote that he said around that, and yeah, I think it was kind of like, well, Rob, like, why are you wasting your time? Um, why are you wasting your time like sorting all these cards? Like a lot of you go to card shows, you go to stores, and people have to literally go through like the dollar bin and like find these cards. And he said the customer should not be doing the work of the dealer.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Bravo, Rob.
Oh,
See,
and
Rob's
I
an OG.
actually,
He's an
he's an
OG.
OG, and I actually replied to it and I said, Rob, this is fantastic. And this can be any business. You never push your work on the customer. Well,
Never.
I shouldn't say that actually. There are examples. Like if you go to like a Korean barbecue restaurant and they
Oh,
have you
that
cook the
sucks. You
food
got to
in
cook
front
your
of
own
you, right?
food.
Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, you're pushing that work onto me. I guess grocery stores, like you bag your own groceries and everything. So shoot, I'm kind of shooting holes in this, but I think in our industry, right? Like it's you have to remember that quote.
Yeah.
Only push, I guess, what you need to the customer. Like, don't be having them sort through for hours trying to find that Barry Bonds. If you have a way of that, you can just sort it for the customer. Oh, you're going to be so much better off. So much better off. So kudos to you, Rob.
See,
I
Rob
just
is
thought that was
like,
great.
he's just been in the industry since the 80s. It's all he cares about. He just
Yeah.
cares about this. He cares about the
Mm-hmm.
people, and he's passionate about it. And it's awesome. His whole family works. His daughter works there now. She's
Right.
passionate about it. And so, like, I just love everything he does. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry if this is a promo for Rob.
No, I know. We always promote
He's
whenever
been
whenever
on.
he comes on
We
and
did a virtual tour too that showed off those
yeah.
boxes. It was pretty cool. So
Yeah, very popular. Check that one out on YouTube. That's probably one of the best videos we've had in a while, Nick. Yeah, you did a great job with that one.
oh, thanks.
All
Yeah.
right, let's move on. Next topic. Are we bringing up whatnot again,
I
Nick?
got a bone to pick, man.
Again?
Just stand back
Oh,
for a
all right.
second.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Let
All
me
right.
take a deep breath here.
So if you follow Boston Card Hunter on Instagram, you definitely know that I call out whatnot BS on there because I've seen just some
Hmm.
of the worst. And we are going to get into a really, really bad one later that takes the cake beyond all cake in terms
Oh
of bad
no.
behavior by somebody. Um, and I aired that. And
Hmm.
I was actually kind of worried, really worried about this one. Like I was trying
Okay.
to like, all right, how do I get in touch with what happened, with the people that happened to, and how do I tell the authorities? And I was so
Hmm.
worried. I sent whatnot pictures, and I even sent my following a scrubbed picture, no identifying information whatsoever. The person
Hmm.
reached out. He's like, "Can you please take this down?" And I'm like, "What do I do?" And when we tell you what happened later on, a
Hmm.
little later in the show, you'll
Hmm.
understand my dilemma. And so I posted that, and then within 5 minutes, I got banned from Whatnot. And I looked
They banned
what,
you.
yeah,
So the
7 day
company
ban
banned you for
for
trying to help them
sharing
out.
for sharing
Mm.
personally identifiable information. but I didn't. It was completely scrubbed and anonymous. You can see the video right now. I show it. The only people I shared it with was Whatnot. I literally said,
Right.
"Here is their identity. Please,
Oh,
please
oh my God.
contact the
Great.
police. You have
Hmm.
their address." And they banned me, and I lost my mind. I lost my mind. I can't believe it. Um, and I don't know. I'm just really disgusted. And you know, when I'm back on, hopefully they don't ban me again because I feel like I'm offering a service here to like get people their cards back or like call out
Hmm.
bad behavior.
Hmm.
I can understand why they wouldn't want me on their platform. Their platform sucks right now in terms of quality control. They're growing too fast.
Hmm.
But dude, somebody's gonna die on Whatnot. I'm not
Hmm.
joking. Like this isn't even a joke. Like something really, really effing bad is going to happen on this platform soon. That's how bad they are and it's gonna happen like live with like a kid watching. And I'm just trying to get them to slow down and be better about it so this doesn't
Yeah.
happen. But
Yeah.
I'm only one person. What can I do?
So with you, I'm going to put my cybersecurity hat on. A lot of you know that I am a cybersecurity professional, so I've been in that industry for a while. With what you just described to me, you discovered what I'm going to call a vulnerability at Whatnot. There was something bad that happened, and you directly reached out to them and you provided evidence and you said, "Hey,
Yeah,
this is going on. Here's the evidence. I hope you can do something about this."
correct.
And they banned you
They banned me.
in the business world. And Whatnot should actually have this themselves because they're an enterprise. There's something called vulnerability disclosure. And a corporate business, if they want to become a big boy, Whatnot, um vulnerability disclosure, you need a way for people to reach out to you if they find a vulnerability in your environment, in your system, on your website, in the content that you have on your website.
Such a good
And
point.
and you need to allow, these white hat hackers in the cybersecurity world to say, "Hey, I found this flaw in your software. I'm just letting you know about it. You should fix it." If a company blatantly ignores that white hat hacker and they ban them and don't let them email them anymore, you can get in so much trouble. Not only that, but you can piss off that hacker and then they
Yeah,
go
I mean, I could just make
completely
another account.
nuclear.
Yeah.
And so man, they have
I'm
a
not trying to
lot of
attack. I'm
lessons
trying to
learned.
help them get better. You know what,
Yeah.
LZ? We've never done this before. I'm calling an audible. All right, we're gonna kill the Bonehead Breaker segment later. I want to tell
Okay.
everybody what happened, just
All
in
right.
case people are gonna zone out or whatever. So we'll kill
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
What I witnessed on there, somebody sent this to me, was an extremely abusive relationship, and there was abuse on both sides from the husband and wife on camera for over 2 minutes, from choking to yelling to threatening to swearing. And it was very clear that he took over. She is the streamer. Um, I'm not going to name it. God forbid, YouTube bans me or something. But like, it's on Instagram somewhere.
Hmm.
She has a Pokemon stream, and he took it over and was not going to give it up. And he just wanted to do that. You could tell like something wasn't right. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
And and then they said we're on vacation after, kind of like, like the heartbeat ends, get that like tone.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is like probably the most serious thing I've ever seen on the
Hmm.
platform. And I am
Hmm.
genuinely worried about, and I'm like, does anybody know? It's crazy. So that's
Hmm.
what I aired. If you want to see it, it's still up on my Instagram, and that's what we got banned for.
Nick, can you also talk about, there's a lot of other crap that you've been uncovering this past week. What about
Oh
the
yeah,
people
mm.
on Whatnot that are asking, how much is it going to take for me to tip you for you to show me your face? And these are children.
This one
These are
got me.
children breakers,
Yeah.
and these weirdos online, because the child is not showing their face, are saying to the child, how much is it going to take for me to tip you for you to show me your face?
Yeah, so this
That is
this concerns
disturbing.
me. This concerns me even more than a
Yeah.
domestic violence, if
Hmm.
somehow something can.
Hmm.
Um, this kid had his first stream. God bless him. He was selling grass in the backyard, and I made fun of it. I
I
didn't.
love that. Talk about an entrepreneur. This kid was selling the grass in the
He,
backyard.
he had 30
Good for
viewers.
him.
He had
Good
30
for
viewers.
him.
Um,
Okay.
I just thought it was funny and I aired it
Yeah.
as a funny video,
Hmm.
like really funny. But then in the comments, I started to find out what was actually in the video. And there were two people in that video. One of them said, how much to tip for a face reveal, which I cannot think of any scenario on planet Earth why, other than he wants to bust him for being underage. But no, like there's no
No.
good scenario. And then
Mm-mm.
somebody else said, face reveal, please, twice. And then I'm thinking to myself, if they can't even filter out domestic violence, do I like Roblox? If you guys are listening right now, I won't take too long. And LZ knows all about this. You know,
Mm.
Roblox
Hmm.
is a disaster right now. I've actually been working with the FBI and police on some stuff with it. And as much as 20% of that network is pedophiles and people with bad intentions. There's cults around it. You can just Google this stuff and find it. If Roblox is doing such a like Whatnot is doing such a poor job of filtration and quality control that they can't even filter domestic violence, swearing, hate speech, guns, weapons, things like that. Do you feel safe about like? I feel like some kid is going to potentially get exposed to a predator because of Whatnot's
Hmm.
lack of ability to take care of the quality control. Stop growing, slow down. Just like Facebook in the early days, they had a lot of bad stuff on there. Slow down. Because something, I'm telling you right now, something really horrific is going to happen.
Yes, that is
Oof,
a,
sorry.
oh man. Yeah.
It's just
No,
like,
something bad is going to happen, right? I mean, yeah, but we needed to talk about it.
yeah.
We
And
needed
I
to
didn't
talk.
want it to be funny like Bonehead Breaker. It's not funny. It's not
Oh,
funny.
no, 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 no. And I didn't want to wait a week. Like we could have just covered that topic, let's say next week if we wanted to, but
Yeah.
we couldn't wait on this one. All right, everybody. We got to lighten up the
We need
mood.
some
We
different mojo.
have to lighten up the mood. So everybody, we are 100%. We're going a completely different direction here. We're lightening up the mood. It is now time for the pop report. All right? So this is topics in pop culture that have hit home with us the past week that we want to bring up to the audience. Maybe they missed it. So here we go. Nick, you're going to lead off this time
I
with the pop
am. I
report.
am. I'm not a pop culture guy, but this one got to me. ChatGPT was down for a little while last week, and I was really not happy. It
A
made my
lot of
life
us
very
weren't.
difficult.
Yeah.
I was trying to do a lot, everything from
Yeah.
thumbnails to, give me a sentence that sounds better than what I'm already typing or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy, man? I started to clearly Instagram picked up, what I was talking about, and they served up Gordon Levitt. He's an actor. He's a great actor. He's done a bunch of cool movies.
Mm. Inception. Wasn't he in
Inception.
Inception?
He did a
Yeah.
really awesome guitar movie with Bono's daughter
Oh, he
on
did.
Apple. I forget the
Yeah, that
name of
was
that.
cool.
That was a
Yeah.
great movie.
Hmm.
And anyway, he talked about being in Hollywood and looking at AI. And he's like, AI is going to take away tons of jobs. It's going to change everything. And he says, at what point does the human have no value? And you're just being enhanced by machinery or by the cyborg or whatever. And he said it's a lot like communism. The structure of communism is the machine expands, the machine grows, and you predict future output. I mean, I've read a few books on this crap. It put me to sleep, but and then in communism, the human is equal. Now that's proven to not work. A meritocracy has proven to work better over time in governments. Most communist governments have failed by now, but there is a big one that hasn't. But it's an interesting thought process where you're like, well, geez, as a human being, like, what is my worth and what am I going to accomplish in the next 10 years or whatever that just can't be done by a machine? It's pretty wild. It almost gets like matrixy, right? We're just like
It's
300-watt, heaters for the machines.
it is a very interesting theory on where things are going. I'm thinking more because he was thinking the same direction of like content, right? Like, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, there was some pop star who's also a producer. I forget who it was, but recently signed the first ever AI musical artist, and he's going to start pumping this AI musical artist. And I think you're going to see more and more of this. You're going to see
Of
actors like
course.
Google came out with this new model recently, this new AI model, and there was a lot of videos all over socials about these just incredible videos that they've created that are all AI generated. So it's yeah, I think even Gary V has been talking about this, how influencers are going to turn into AI generated people. They're not going to be humans anymore, influencers.
Wild,
So
man. It's totally wild. Do I even
yeah,
matter? Do I even matter? Should I even wake up tomorrow?
yeah, I don't know. All right, speaking of influencers, we got to make it even lighter. Like you brought
I
in
know.
communism and
Jeez,
everything,
man.
man.
This is
This
dark.
is
This
all
is
right.
a
My next
dark
topic
episode.
is no. This is gonna bring it right back. Do you know Sydney
Of
Sweeney?
course. Of course I
All
do.
right. Yeah, we all do, right? A couple weeks ago, I actually meant to bring this up last week, and I was like, shame on me for not. She has partnered with Dr. Sasquatch,
Dr.
which is like
Sasquatch.
they make like manly soaps and stuff and body scrubs. And I think they might have even been on Shark Tank probably
I
like
think I've
7, 8
seen one
years
of the
ago.
commercials, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So she has sponsored, Sydney Sweeney has partnered with Dr. Sasquatch to create her own line of soap, which is great, Nick, right? Her own line of soap.
Uh-huh.
But here's the catch, Nick. The soap is made with her bathwater.
Shut up. Shut up. I
I
thought
am,
that. So I do remember watching this ad, and I thought that that was a joke. Are you telling me this is actually true?
it is true. It is
Okay.
true.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
okay.
Mhm.
I don't even know how to respond. Like, so you're saying there's a few skin cells of Sydney Sweeney in this
Yeah,
guy?
I don't know. She took one bath. They took I don't know how many gallons are in a bathtub, and they're
Oh,
making soap out of it, man.
it's kind of gross,
They're
right?
making soap out of it.
Is it
Yeah.
gross or is it not gross? I don't
No,
know.
that's gross.
It's
I mean,
gross.
it's probably so
I don't
minuscule
want to
that it
use that.
actually isn't gross, but
Right.
just like the
I,
thought of it is
I don't
gross.
care who bathes. I don't want.
No,
I don't want their bath
no,
water.
no, no,
Give
no,
it, nah,
no.
dude. I'm good. I'm good, man.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
I'll
good.
even so another story. So I
That's awesome,
we're
though.
it's wild though, right? So we're in the Boston area. We listen to sports stations. It's gross, man.
It's
But listen to
disgusting.
this. It's wild. It's wild. Like it's probably men that are obviously interested in this. Like men are pigs, right? They were just flat out pigs. Um, there so one of the sports radio stations we talk about is 98.5 The Sports Hub, and there is a female host that talks a lot around like gambling. Her name's Kendra Middleton, and she has like a weekend show, and they interviewed Kendra about this soap, and they asked her, they said, Kendra, like, has anybody ever asked you to do like weird things like that? And she's like, yeah, absolutely. And they're like, have you done it? And she's like, yeah. She's like, a few guys have paid me $150 to send them my used socks.
Ah, come on, man.
Used socks.
All
And
right.
she did it, Nick. She
All
did
right.
it.
Yeah, of course she did it, man. It's
Just
150 bucks for a sock.
so
I'll
she
do
said
this.
all she did is she'd put on socks and go for a run in the morning and then put them in a bag and ship them to these guys. Like men are pigs, just flat out pigs.
Oh
So
my.
yeah,
All
Sydney
right.
Sweeney bathwater. All right,
I'm good. I'm
what's
good.
the next
I'm all
what's
set,
the
dude.
next what's the next one you have?
Fanatics Fest. Oh no, what? Well, actually, yeah, no, that's all I had for the
You have? All right, I have
pop
one
culture.
more that we
You have
need
one
to
more.
cover.
Yeah.
One more. And this is going a little bit long, but we would be remiss if you and I did not talk about Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys passing away 2 days ago. So when we recorded this, um, Brian Wilson, Beach Boys, he was just instrumental in everything the Beach Boys did. He was their writer, producer, vocalist, everything. If you haven't seen, there's been a few documentaries about him. There's been a Beach Boys documentary about him. Uh, just amazing. Like it's making the
Great.
rounds. Like just listen to God Only Knows. That is his masterpiece, that song. So if you haven't listened to that in a while, listen to that song.
All right.
That song comes off of the album Pet Sounds by the Beach
One
Boys.
of the best albums of all
And
time. Yeah.
yes, one of the best albums of all time. And it forced the Beatles, the
Yeah.
Who,
To get better.
and the Rolling Stones to get better. And it was all because of Brian Wilson. So it's really, really sad that
Yeah,
Brian
you'll
has
never see
passed.
harmonizing bands like that Eagles and the Beach Boys were numero uno for
Yeah.
harmonization. And
Hmm.
like when I was a kid, I remember thinking that's like one person,
Yeah.
but it's like seven people. It's just wild, absolutely wild. So
Yeah.
yeah, great.
A
That's a
lot of
great movie too.
lot of dedications. And the other one, oh, the other song, Bare Naked Ladies, Brian Wilson,
Mm,
lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did. Like
yeah,
that song, I listened to that one last night. So he made a huge mark and
sure
rest in
did.
peace, Brian Wilson. All right, so you teased it. Let's get to Fanatics Fest. Let's cover it. What tell me about it? I don't know enough.
Yeah,
Let's
I've,
go.
I've been actually helping these guys with this concept behind the scenes. We've been blessed with having this podcast and
Hmm.
YouTube channel, and obviously the Instagram following and stuff. And we run into collectors from all over the world with all kinds of stuff. And Fanatics wanted to create a $200 million card museum concept at this Fanatics Fest. They've done stuff like this before, like they've showed off nice cards, but this 200 million bucks on display that you can walk through and really pump up. And so I was helping them behind the scenes curate some of this stuff from collectors, and it's pretty wild. Like if you want to go see, I mean, this is out there, so I'm gonna say it now because it's
Yeah.
today.
Hmm.
We got Nat Turner's PMGs. So I know you got to see those, LZ, at the PSA dinner last year.
I did.
Those will be there.
Amazing. And
Not just the greens, but the
I think he's added one more
yeah,
maybe since then. So
and
yeah.
the reds and the greens will be there. If the audience doesn't know, those
Mm.
are bonkers inserts from Skybox Metal.
Yep.
He's got his the MJ patch, finals patch auto card. That thing's like just ridiculous. There's
Mhm.
baseball there. There's superfractors from the modern era. I helped them make sure the vintage was represented. We wanted to make
There's even
sure
some jerseys too. Like
there
there's other
is.
memorabilia too,
It's
right,
it's
Nick?
almost like a wine and food pairing. So you'll have some nice
Oh,
cards, and then you'll have some memorabilia accompanying
kind of
the
goes with it.
cards.
Ooh, cool. All
Um,
right.
and there's
It's a little
Caitlin
different.
Clark stuff there too. For the female collectors that are at it. I will
Female
personally.
collectors. I'd collect Kate and
Yeah,
Clark.
that's true. That's true. But you get my point. You
Yeah.
want like
Yeah.
the girls that are there to like,
For
oh,
sure.
cool.
Yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, I'll be there with my son for a little bit at the museum. Probably Saturday, a little bit of Sunday too. But it's pretty cool. You should check it out
Well, yeah. So when this airs, this is all happening already. So
right now.
please
Yeah.
please share. So if you're that close to all this happening, when you get there, see if you can find a quiet moment and take some really good videos and share it with us on the museum. Like with kind of maybe it's a bit quiet, no one around. But that's really cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Anything else you can tell us about
Yeah, one
Fanatics?
other thing I want to say about
Fest?
um
Yeah.
the fest in general. Last year was
Hmm.
60, 70,000 people. And
Pretty good for
it
the
was kind of
first
a
one.
loss leader for them. I literally ate crow in a video where, I said Fanatics Fest is canceled forever. Um, I couldn't have gotten something more wrong.
It's all right.
They're anticipating like a 50% attendance bump. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 100,000 people over the course of this weekend, which puts them at half the national in 1 year.
In
And
1 year.
it's
Wow.
pretty, and the national is just cards, right? This is sports, entertainment, and
Hmm.
cards. It's going to be interesting to see how this develops. I don't know if they're going to be focusing on the regional ones or this national one. They probably want to get this one right. But all signs are pointing to like a statement, kind of like the national in the early '90s, like
Hmm.
a statement event. It's going to be fun to be a part of it. It'll be cool, good time.
It all comes down to promotion. And Fanatics is great at promoting. I mean, I did see that they're giving away like $1 million. They're giving away, I think, a Ferrari, a LeBron James card that's worth a ton. So they're doing that. And then I also saw Michael Rubin come out and state, I think last year he gave away like Super Bowl tickets to whoever was like dressed up as their favorite athlete last year. And like this year, he's like 10xing that. It's going to be like Super Bowl tickets. It's going to be like World Series tickets. It's going to be like, it's just like everything. It's like the FIFA World Cup finals.
Well, the contest, the
Uh,
Fanatics
it's
games are
just like,
nuts too.
it's everything. Like he's just giving away like a ton. So I think this is definitely, to your point around, it could reach 100,000. I think it definitely can. If they
Yeah,
got 60 last year, they will hit 100 this
yeah.
year.
So this starts to
Most
get big.
definitely.
I mean, does this outgrow the Javits Center at some point? I mean, it's I don't know what the capacity is.
I don't think I think I
It's
don't
a
know.
200? What's the capacity of the
We
Javits Center?
looked it up. We talked about this at one point.
Javits Center capacity. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, this is like it says like 40,000. This doesn't make any sense. I mean, unless
No,
it's like a revolving
40,000?
door.
No way.
The entire
No way, no
space,
way, no way.
a
No way.
39,000 reception capacity. So
No, no, no,
maybe,
no, no. No.
all right.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of like when Salesforce does their like Dreamforce, they get like
Yeah,
100,000 people showing up to those. So there are conference centers that can hold more than that.
we'll
I don't
see.
know.
We'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. One little smaller thing, we were talking about Brian Wilson, we're talking about music. Me and Nick love to talk about music that I saw come across my socials a couple weeks ago is Topps is creating Lincoln Park trading cards, which I thought was like really cool. It caught my eye because I know that my son went through some stages where he wasn't into sports cards, but he was into like collecting like old school music cards.
Right.
I think it would be cool if Topps kind of goes hard at this and maybe does
I
like
like
a
it.
whole entire series of rock bands and hip hop artists
Especially with
and all that.
autographs, you know?
Yeah, with autographs and relics, and you
Yeah.
could have like
A
a
guitar
guitar
pick.
pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're right in
There you go.
we're right in sync, pal. Right in sync with that one. But I think this could be really interesting. So I'm definitely going to pay attention to that. I think it would be really cool.
Yeah, I like
So
it. I mean, just for me
yeah,
personally, I have that Nirvana card with Chris Novoselic. He's the bassist for Nirvana. He actually signs really well. I got a glow in the dark guitar pick. I had him sign Chris on it, glued it to the card. I had PSA slabbed it as a guitar pick. How cool is that? So it says guitar
nice.
pick, and
Yeah,
it glows in the dark, and like his
yeah.
name's on it, and it's just so badass. So I love that, man. You know, like collect your stuff from your favorite band, especially some of these guys are getting old. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
And the next thing you know, Fanatics Fest is going hard with music next year, right? I know they have like Travis Scott and DJ Khaled and a few others, but
We're
shoot, if
gonna
they
have
go this
YouTuber. We're
direction,
gonna have YouTuber cards soon too, man.
yeah, we probably could. We probably could. All right. Do you have anything else you want to cover?
I'm good,
Or
dude.
all
Question
right,
of the day.
let's get to question of the day, everybody. I'm going to fold a little bit of a pop report into this. One of the other ones that I wanted to talk about was Spaceballs, the movie.
Spaceballs.
If you haven't heard, everybody, Spaceballs, which I think, I don't know, maybe came out in the late 80s, probably late 80s, Nick, right? Spaceballs.
Yeah.
It's a spoof by Mel Brooks on Star Wars. It was like a cult classic, very, very popular. Um, they're coming out with a second one. And they did this really cool social way of doing it where it was like the Star Wars intro with like all the words coming down the screen. And it was like um there have been, you know, since Spaceballs, there have been 12 Star Wars movies. There have been 25 TV shows. There have been 12 cartoons. There have been two prequels, three trilogies. There have been um 80 Marvel movies, and there's only been one Spaceballs until today. So they're coming out with a new Spaceballs. It's going to be a lot of the original cast, which is awesome. And it got me thinking of the
Rick
question of the
Moranis'
day.
first appearance in 30 years.
Yeah. So Rick Moranis and Bill Pullman. So the two main characters are
Yeah.
coming back.
30
which is
years he's
awesome.
been dormant. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah. 30 years he's been dormant.
He has.
No
That's what
way.
that was the headline. First, like actual filmed thing in 30 years for Rick
Whoa.
Moranis.
Wow. All right.
Which you're
Jeez.
right.
So
If you think about it,
Ghostbusters,
yeah,
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah,
that's it.
he was a titan for a while.
He
All
was.
right. So my question to you is, because this movie kind of reminds me of this question. If you think about your childhood, let's say until you became a teenager, so until 13 years old,
Yeah.
what was the one memorable movie that you can think of that if it was on today, you'd be like, I gotta watch this. This brings so much nostalgia back.
See, back in the 80s, you had full evidence of this. It's like whichever tape was worn out. You know what I mean? You just know which one you watch the most,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Man, for me, it's
Don't choose mine. Don't choose it. Come on. What do you got?
I'm just gonna rattle three off because I'm just
Three.
yeah.
Okay.
Dark
All
Crystal, Flight of the Navigator, and
Ooh.
Back to the Future 1.
Okay. All right. Two of those I would agree. I wasn't really into Dark Crystal. I don't know why. I just never got into it. But those other two, abso-freaking-lutely. Back to the Future, Flight of the Navigator. Oh, Never Ending Story.
Ooh,
Like all
I didn't
all
pick
of
that one.
those.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. So those are two really good choices. Back to the Future. Shoot. I mean, that thing's on Broadway now. It's amazing. Um, Mine is a bit more serious of a movie. It is the Stephen King novel Stand By Me.
Oh, wow.
Corey
Okay.
Feldman, Jerry O'Connell, River Phoenix, and I forget. I
See, in the
forget
80s,
the.
movies just mess with your head.
Oh man,
Like in Never Ending Story, like everybody, spoiler alert, everybody, the horse dying, like that will mess you up for 10 years,
in
30 years.
quicksand,
In quicksand.
right? He dies in quicksand.
Damn, don't die. He's dressed like
Yeah,
Creed.
yeah.
It's so funny.
Hmm.
And like it's just like they will mess with you and Stand By Me. That still messes me
So,
up.
so Stand By Me. The reason why I thought of that one is my daughter's actually going through this right now. She's in eighth grade. She's going to be a freshman, so she's going to high school, and that's what that movie was about. This was the last summer that these four friends had together, like going on an adventure before high school came. And
Right.
everything changes in high school, different cliques and
Sure does.
sports and girls and all that. Everything kind of changes. So that was just I watched that movie every time. I had it on VHS, I had it on DVD. I don't have the download of it now, but that's just such a great movie. So
Yeah, I
that one
remember that
for
movie
me.
just making me sad. Like when I was a
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah,
Um,
especially the ends, right? That ending monologue is they're all kind of going in different directions and they had that one last
yeah.
adventure and
Deep stuff,
yeah.
man. Yeah, our kids
Yeah.
are about the same age, so you start to think about these things. It's like I
Hmm.
was trying to watch Neverending Story with Gavin. I'm like, wait a sec, man. He's gonna watch a horse. That horse scene, that whatever
Yeah.
that animal, that wolf thing, man.
Oh, it's scary.
Nothing or whatever
Yeah.
it's called. That
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
gonna affect him. So I'm like,
Yeah.
let's wait. Let's wait a little
Yeah. This
bit.
isn't Generation X anymore. We kind of have to tread lightly on
Oh,
some
geez.
of this
Yeah, I don't
stuff.
want him in therapy at 10.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, we want to hear in your comments what your one nostalgic movie from childhood is. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Let's land this plane. All right. Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
everyone.